I used my last bus ticket and all day on Friday. Well, I have already somewhat forgotten what I did Saturday. I'm quite sure my first order of business was to turn in my cans and bottles. Maybe I ended up having to go to Freddy's and maybe then even to Trader Joe's. Then I went to my tobacco shop. I think I may have then gone home and done a little relaxing. Anyway, I didn't show up at STP until about 3 o'clock or 3:30. If I did anything else before showing up at STP, I've now forgotten such. I showed up at STP to do some laundry. I have finally found enough clothes that I need to do it in 2 loads, and I only managed to do the first load on Saturday, and after I relaxed, smoked, and played some NetHack, I started this journal entry. I think I started it at about 6 o'clock p.m. At 10 o'clock p.m., I went to do some uploading, and I think I've already detailed that fairly well. I, of course, went right to bed when I got home. I woke up yesterday from a Terry Pittman dream. I dreamt that Terry had decided to go out with a Facebook friend of mine who was a lean and hungry militaristic type with a buzz cut or a crew cut. There was a subplot that seemed to be not quite a separate dream, even though it took place before the dream proper and had no after effect. There was an arty movie theater that was perhaps supposed to be Theater 21, which I think I've dreamt of before. The theater worked on the honor system, as in you could just walk right in, but they expected you to have paid. I am pretty sure I went in without paying. Someone in charge stood right around the screen and made veiled references that the fact that I hadn't paid was known, trying to get me to fess up. I think I did not fess up, and they, the one in charge and the whole audience, were starting to accept me when the scene ended. Anyway, when I found out Terry was about to go out with a Facebook friend of mine, I tried desperately to convince her that this went to show that she was meant to be with me. I think I even cried. Dream ends. Though my policy is to wait a month before interpreting dreams, I feel quite certain this dream was a message from the god Mars, Greek god Ares, that I have made decisions that detract from my masculinity and are probably shameful. Does not the good book say that all have sinned and fallen short of the glory of God? When I woke up, I decided to get a few more Z's. I think I may have even taken my morning dump, which usually signals it's time to get up. Getting more Z's turned out to be the right thing, though, because when I got up at a little before noon, I believe, I felt quite energized and ready to go. I went to Saturday Market and proceeded naturally to Waterfront Park, needing more money to get a pack of smokes and discovering that my tablet doesn't have a video camera. So I used my Wi-Fi only phone. I shot a little of the Asian child who plays classical music and an electronic keyboard on an electronic keyboard, and some Ed English, and that trolley bus went by, so I caught a little of his next song since it went by at the tail end of his first song. When I was at Waterfront Park, I almost shot footage of ducks, geese, and seagulls together, but the ducks flew off at the last moment, so I decided it not worth it. When I got to Starbucks on 2nd and Main, I didn't have enough money to buy coffee, and the bench was wet, and besides, I was just about out of smokes, so I went directly to Whole Foods and turned in my cans and bottles. I bought some smokes, went home, packed the rest of my laundry, had a smoke, and took my laundry to SPP, arriving at around 4 o'clock p.m. I did my laundry and left at about 6 o'clock. Then went home, relaxed, smoked, and played some NetHack in preparation for resuming this entry, then resumed it, stopping at about 10 o'clock p.m. and going to bed. This morning I woke up feeling, quote, up and atom, end of quote, earlier than usual, a little after 10 o'clock a.m., I think. My first order of business was to go to see my PO, even though I had an appointment to see him tomorrow, because I was out of bus tickets. Seeing my PO without an appointment, especially the day before my appointment, went smoother and especially quicker than I expected. I'd planned to go out to Washington County today because I was low on money in cans and bottles and smokes, but my PO offered me a large bag of cans and bottles and gave them to me after he checked with someone else. The meeting seemed to be quite brief. I told him I needed bus tickets. He said he figured as much. I asked him if he'd like today to be our appointment instead of me coming back tomorrow, and he agreed to that. He asked the same, quote, someone else, in a quote, I think he might have been his boss, if there was anything that could be done to get me a bus pass. He didn't really have anything to offer, but mentioned Voc Rehab again. And after I checked with Jennifer Gamble, I think I will go check out Voc Rehab. My PO didn't have any bus tickets, so he had me wait downstairs while he went and got some. After he went and got them, and I signed for them, I found they were 3 all days. So I think when I use the bus to go to appointments, I'll go out to Washington County to collect cans, to have extra money, and to get my money's worth on my bus tickets. Since I had extra cans and bottles, I didn't need to go to Washington County today. I went to Whole Foods, but the machine was being fixed when I got there. It took the guy forever to fix the machine, and then it broke down again after the guy ahead of me put in 2 cans. And the guy who was fixing the machine returned to fix it again. So I decided to go to Freddy's, and my patience was almost exhausted there, too, as the machine kept breaking down, and there was a long line, etc. I think I got home at about 3 o'clock p.m. or 4 o'clock p.m., relaxed, smoked, and played some NetHack in preparation for resuming this entry, then resumed it. Well, it got to be late last night, about 10 o'clock p.m., and I went to bed. I had a horrible time getting to sleep, though, so maybe I should have completed this entry, which is almost done. While I was trying to get to sleep, I kept thinking of things I forgot to mention, so I wrote them down briefly to remind myself on little notes. A little before resuming this entry yesterday, there was a pretty major hailstorm, which was a marvel to behold. I wonder if Lisa and Bob have had a hailstorm recently where they are. Recently, I decided to take a shower and change clothes exactly every 4 days, which means I shower, change clothes, and change clothes tomorrow. And which is why I mentioned that I had to wait a day to take a shower in a recent entry. Sometime last week, I found a TracFone feature phone. It works and it has a video camera, but I think I might throw it away if no one wants it, because TracFone has horrible prices and it has no minutes left. While I was writing this last night, a neighbor gave me a bag of cans. I plan to go to Free Geek today and see if I can get the keyboard working after I complete writing and recording this entry. In NetHack, I just completed level 1 as a samurai. I'm on level 2, experience level 3. Not much interesting has happened so far. I found a trident, which is a rare find. I had a bit of a hard time getting my dog Shadrach to follow me downstairs, and have slightly dangerously kept eating though satiated. So I am still satiated now, and that's about it. I still need to go shopping, and I bought another Barks at the same place yesterday. I have $4.67, enough to buy smokes today. Danger due to cause bias asylum modifying emotions. On going back to sleep Sunday, I fell asleep even though my music was on full blast. And it's amazing what just a little more sleep can do for you. Maybe that's why God invented snooze alarms. At Saturday Market on Sunday, I also shot a guy playing that Australian instrument I think is called a didgeridoo. This entry has no random Wikipedia article, as my Obama phone is out of data, and I don't feel like going somewhere with Wi-Fi just to get the article and come right back right now. The time is 1:42 p.m. And now for the poem for this entry. Turned out to be a tape recorder. Dream ends. Smokes. Now I remember. Can. Do some uploading. Trader Joe's. Paraphernalia. The doubled up bag. I've neglected for a longish time. It. Off at the Beaverton Central stop. Wikipedia. At about 8:30. When I changed clothes. I'm not sure it helped me sleep, though his office is quite near. On the floor called 2M, 13th at 1 o'clock p.m. Yesterday, left a message. The World Wide Web, night. Sure, I made the appointment. Hour early, 2 o'clock p.m. 2:30 p.m., but he was still a no-show. The library, so I don't know. Blogs, but that's just a guess. Coins. The time is 8:18 p.m. I did that at the library. End of poem and end of entry.